All the world is a stage. I'm pretty sure a lot of you know that saying, and I should have checked who said it. I think it might be Shakespeare, it could be someone else, but this line really is important and relevant to my next topic and my next few topics. I intend to talk and speak and explain to you the topic in astrology known as rising signs and houses. This really explains the persona that people put on in different aspects of life. Rising signs really explain the persona and image that we project to the world. It's not only the persona and image, but it's also a part of us. It's interesting because I used to think the rising sign, if you just start to do studies on astrology, you might think the rising sign is just a facade. And in reality it is, but it's actually needed for us to cope with the world. It's not just a facade. Like the sun sign in your chart, where the sun is when you're born, who you are, what your ego is. It's kind of your motivation. Whereas your rising sign is something that's automatically connects with you to the world. It explains how you connect to the world and how the world connects to you, and through what methods you use to differentiate yourself from others and express yourself naturally. It might explain your clothing style, your inclinations towards what you naturally like automatically. It explains, it shows your different ways of dealing with things, the automatic thing. The rising sign is important to the houses. It's actually the most people say the most important, because it's your personal, how you show yourself personally. Now, the houses are divided into 12 sections. They're also divided into 4 sections and 2 sections, and whichever part of the whichever house is in what part of what area of your chart really explains whether it's personal to you, whether you use it in your career, whether it's used at home, but it explains the energies in the different aspects of your life. If you move into a home, your 4th house was your home. Your 4th house will have energies in it. If you have like a whole bunch of planets in your 4th house, that it's bound to be that your life may be there may be a lot of focus on your home in your life, and you might have something. I think personally that you might have a lot to learn in that aspect of your life, because the planets have different energies and have different even personalities that kind of grant you different frequencies that you can react to. Now, to explain this better and more simplistically, the 1st house is important. The 4 cardinal houses are the most important. They make an angle like this. It goes from east, west, north, and south. Whichever constellations and planets were on the eastern horizon, the western horizon, the top and bottom of the sky, I guess you could say, are, I guess, northern horizon and southern horizon, if that makes, yeah, I believe. They're really important to how you connect and how other people see you. How people see you when they meet you is on the signs and planets on the eastern horizon when you were born. How you express yourself in your home is, and how you express yourself as a parent is, you'd say, the 4th house, and how your childhood's also the 4th house. The 4th house is important because it's also, some people say, your past life and what your natural talents are and what you come into this life knowing or instinctively having. My 4th house is in Gemini. I grew up in a very, I'd say, Gemini house. My father was very philosophical. I was always wanting to learn about facts. Me and my sister both have strong Gemini in that way. I think my whole family kind of has this pattern of like philosophizing. And then the 7th house is the opposite of the 1st house. The 1st house is you and your personality. The 7th house is could be your significant other. It's actually the other person. By the other person, I mean the opposite. And it could be any kind of opposite, but when you meet other people, it's the opposite aspect of them that you don't have in yourself, and it's something you have to learn. You do have it in yourself, but you're not able to express it. And the 10th house is the opposite of the 4th house. The 10th house is your career, and it's also your public standing. It's how people see you on TV. It's how people see you on Facebook. It's how you express yourself there. So you may have this, like, I have a lot of friends on Facebook, but honestly, I'm like the least social person ever. I have very few real friends in real life. They're all really good friends. I'm a Capricorn, so I'm less social. If you look at my chart, you see that I'm more secretive than people would believe or let on to believe. I have Aquarius rising, and I have Sagittarius 10th house. So my automatic reaction, even when I'm in person or online, might be a bit more. Online, it might be more dramatic because Sagittarius is dramatic. So everyone has every sign in their chart, everyone has every planet in their chart, and everyone has every house. And this is a really important thing because I don't think people get this. But the planets that tend to cluster together tend to create more energy, and they tend to create a more frequency and kind of an angle. And any angle in your chart is important. If it's a strong angle, like if it creates a square, if it creates a triangle, if it creates an opposition. Oppositions are really important because that means that planet's energies is opposite another planet's energies, and it means in your chart, you may be, at home you may be a very happy-go-lucky person with Jupiter in the 4th house, and at your career you may be very stern and serious, and it's different facades that you have for different people. I believe this is really important because I think everyone needs to be balanced. We're all balanced. Just because someone expresses themselves energetically, I think it's possible that in their past life they didn't express themselves that way. We all have to go through experiences, and our spirits are beyond these experiences. In the physical world, we can only express ourselves in certain ways. But the houses and planets really help us. And rising signs are really important. People think, now I'm going to go on to like why rising signs are important and what people think of rising signs. And most people look at sun signs. So if you say, like I said, I'm a Capricorn, that means the sun was in Capricorn. The sun is the center of the galaxy. It's really important. It's really important to everyone. But the sun is way more important after you're an adult. That's when you really grow into yourself. I think the sun is kind of like something that could be more hidden in you, and from some people it's way more hidden than others, and they have to find who they really are. And it's like they're balanced. So when you read about your sun sign, you may intuitively think, okay, this is me. Whereas other people might be like, no, that's not you. Or they may say, yeah, that's you. But it's whether or not your rising sign or your other chart things in your sign resonate with your sun sign or not. Or maybe your sun sign is in your 4th house. And if it's in your 4th house, it may be more hidden because the 4th house is kind of more hidden. It's more secretive. You may only express it to your significant other while you're in your bedroom. I don't mean that sexually, but it could be. Like, you could be a sexual person. It just means that you express yourself better in that setting. My sun is in the 12th house. It's very, very repressed. People would say that, like, it's a water house, and the water houses tend to be more subconscious and repressed and hidden from obvious view. And the 12th house is also the house right before your rising. So that means my sun's in Capricorn and my rising's in Aquarius. These are two signs next to each other in the zodiac, but that means they're very different. They do have some things in common, like the planet Saturn. And this would mean that the sun and my rising sign are both ruled by Saturn. Saturn is a very strong planet in my chart, so looking up the planet can even explain so much about me. And I think it really does. Saturn is very structured and strict, and I have like very obsessive compulsive personality disorder characteristics, but I'm not really that serious because, you know, my Capricorn sun's repressed, I have Aquarius. People think I'm quirky and weird, to be honest, when I meet them. But me expressing myself this way, I may seem more Sagittarius because this is online, this is a public setting, this is the opposite of the home, it is the career, it is the external world and how I express myself that way. Now, as a Sagittarius, I also have Mars in my 10th house and in Sagittarius, which Mars is very focused and driven, so the Mars element in my career section and my public persona section, people may see me as Mars. So I probably appear very fiery online, which is not really the case at all, because I'm not a fiery person. But this is how I probably express myself. And it comes naturally, it just happens. It's weird, but I think a lot of people are connected with a higher power, and the higher power helps them express themselves in different aspects of their life. And I believe it usually has a lot to do with karma. I know my chart has a lot to do with karma, and different planets have different things to do with karma. But yeah, it's really important. So, next time you want to look into astrology and you want to look at who you are, I would look at your sun first, and then move on to your moon or your rising sign. I'll talk about moons in another video, but your rising sign is your public persona and how you appear to other people. And I've been really, like, after you study this for a while, you really get intuitive. Well, you can, it's not intuitive, but it's like common sense on how you can tell someone else's rising sign. You can tell their sun sign, but their rising sign may be more apparent, especially when they're younger. This is some people's belief that when you're younger, you appear like your rising sign if you can't express your sun very well. And your sun, remember, is your ego and your will and your center and who you truly are, but it could be hidden. And your rising sign, you can also have the same rising sign and sun sign, which would mean that you have no contradiction in how you express yourself to other people. And I would probably be able to guess your sun sign right away, right off the bat, or I would just be like, I know you have this in your chart. I know someone, like one of my friends has Cancer rising and Cancer sun, and in the first house, and they have like a strong moon. They have such strong Cancer, and I'm like, I really think you should work in a hotel. Come to find that they really do work in a hotel. And my friend, who is a Gemini, but he has way more strong Libra. He has moon in Libra and in the first house, and he has Libra rising. Now, I'll get more into explaining this in future videos, but he wants to be, like, it's interesting because, like, it's not his career section of his chart, but it means he has a strong interest, and, like, this is how he would express himself, and Libra is very refined, and he wants to be an interior decorator, and it fits because his 10th house is house of career, and his 10th house is in Cancer. Cancer is the home. His career would have something to do with the home. He wants to use his personality to make things prettier, and his career section of his chart is really able to do that through other people's homes, or like the home life. And he's my friend, and I live with him, and we have a really nice furniture, like a very nice couch, and just really nice stuff, and I really appreciate that. So yeah,